Government promises to take care of you, like a controlling boyfriend.
You might not think that you love me, but it's still my job to protect you.
This is a big part of what I do, is protect people from choices.
That's why you should choose to break up with big government.
Are you breaking up with me?
Yes, government has weapons. But remember,
You're needy, you're jealous, you're manipulative. I can't take it anymore. It's crazy. Don't call me crazy!
it's dangerous to disagree with government. Government has the guns, and it knows so much about you.
Stop spying on me! You're an arrogant jerk who screws up everything he touches.
Let's break up with government.
We're done.
Are you finally done with Gov?
I just can't seem to get rid of him. And I keep seeing that thing.
Go about your normal business.
Government is a little like a jealous boyfriend who wants to know what you're doing at all times. Of course, government says when it spies on you, it's for your own good.
Are you spying on that lady?
No. We're protecting her.
Today, the NSA says it spies on us to protect us, and libertarians, please forgive me, I kind of believe the NSA. Some religious fanatics want to murder us, and gathering bulk phone metadata looking for patterns that might reveal a terrorist plot seems like a reasonable thing for government to do. But lots of freedom-loving people say it's a gross violation of our privacy, and Peter and Anna Smith think so. Why?
Well, safety is obviously very important to me, but I don't think the government collecting my phone data is going to make people more safe.
And you're a lawyer, and you've actually sued the president over this.
That's right, we have. We sued the president because the collection of this phone metadata, which is actually who you call, when you call them, and how long you talk, can reveal a lot of information about you. And should the government have that information in their databases? The government certainly can get it. They can go to a judge and say, I believe that Anna's up to something. Will you give us a warrant so we could ask for that data from the phone company? And then they could get it. There's some due process in place.
A lot of people say they want to sue the government or sue the president. Few are successful in court, but the Smiths have been so far.
My name is Peter Smith, and I represent the plaintiff Anna Smith. And 10 years ago, Anna's government began a dragnet collection of her call records. Those call records reveal detailed information about Anna.
How do we know whether those records were A, number one, ever seized, and B, actually searched?
That was the appeals court judge asking you questions in your second appearance before the court, and now you await their decision, if you can go forward?
That's exactly right. And the question was, how do we know? We certainly know they're collecting the data. Anna's a member or a subscriber on Verizon Wireless. It's the largest wireless
You could have
provider.
picked really anybody. You
Correct.
picked your wife.
I did, because it's easy for me to talk to my client, and I can visit with her every single day.
And Anna, you had a condition before you'd go forward with this lawsuit?
I did. So when the Edward Snowden case came to light and was revealed, I had mentioned to my husband, I said, you know, I didn't think that it was right that the government was able to collect my phone data when I hadn't done anything wrong. And so I mentioned that to my husband, and later on that night when I was at work, I'm a nurse in the neonatal intensive care, so about 1 a.m. he sent me a text message saying, would you be willing to be the plaintiff in this case if we were to sue the president? And I said, sure, as long as I don't have to do any interviews. And here I am.
Here you are. And in the Love Gov satire, Gov tries to reassure his girlfriend about his spying on her emails.
I'm not even reading them, all right? I'm just analyzing the metadata.
Sounds much like President Obama.
Nobody is listening to your telephone calls.
So both are true without a warrant, and they can read it or listen, but they're just gathering, looking for patterns, and maybe they'll find a terrorist that way.
Yeah, but those patterns reveal a lot about you. Who you call, how long you talk to them.
But maybe they'll find somebody who wants to kill us.
Certainly. But this program has been wholly ineffective in doing that. And everybody who's looked at the program has said that. It does not keep us safer.
And Congress, spurred on by Rand Paul, has kind of taken your side. They've at least said the phone companies have to hold the data, don't let the government keep it.
That's exactly true. And I think Anna was on the right side of history here. The law has changed.
Why is it less problematic if a phone company holds it?
Think about the phone company has records of certain customers that we voluntarily turn over to them. They don't have everyone's record in one database. Now, they're not going to look up Anna's number. They don't care who she calls and how long she talks to them. But somebody who may be on their radar, somebody that may be in a political party that's not favored by the government, they could learn a lot about who they're talking to and when they're talking to them. It's who has the information that matters here. And the government is powerful. And information in government's hands is powerful.
Probably the most expensive way the government acts like a destructive boyfriend is the way it helps us, and I put help in quotes, buy houses.
I'm gonna buy a house.
Good! Because home ownership, that's the American dream. And everyone deserves to be a part of it. Everyone. Let's go get you a house. It's your right.
Gov sounds a lot like my president.
Helping more families afford their piece of the American dream, and that is owning their own home.
Yay, and helping them afford means taxpayers guarantee their housing loan. Of course, that encourages people to buy more expensive homes than they would otherwise and to think less about the cost. As Libby points out in the satire, and Gov responds,
You know what this is? This is Libby once again being focused on prices and costs. You deserve to be in a house that you want. I'll make sure you get the money you need to make it work.
See, it's not a question of deserve. The finances have to be there too.
but these days they're often not there. The Reason Foundation's Anthony Randazzo says government's deceiving people in its pitch about the American dream.
Yeah,
Explain.
This is one of the most destructive ideas out there. It's this idea that you can't have the American dream, i.e. happiness, without owning a home. And you can't own a home unless the government's subsidizing the mortgage to be able to get it, which basically loops your way all the way back around that you can't have happiness, the American dream, without the government.
And that's kind of Gov's behavior in the film, that we provide the good stuff. And Americans tend to believe this.
Well, a lot of ways they don't see it. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and FHA, all these different organizations actually guarantee mortgages so that banks don't feel like they're taking on risks, and then it's actually cheaper. Plus, there's the mortgage interest deduction. It doesn't actually help that many Americans, only 20–25% of taxpayers, but it's
richer
all these
people.
Richer people, and if you're in the middle class, this is research that I've done, if you're in the middle class, the mortgage interest deduction on average saves you about $600 a year. So even in the ways that they're telling you they're trying to help you, isn't even helping you that much if you're in the middle class.
But even Republicans say, we have to keep doing these things because housing will collapse.
It's this idea of ownership, which is a great thing. I mean, like, let's not get down on owning our own home. That's a fantastic thing if you're able to do it and you're able to afford it. If it's putting you in such a massive amount of debt, or if you're only getting into a home with 3% down payment, 5% down payment, that actually can be a problem. I'm a renter. I feel like I'm living the American dream, but I don't own my own home. I shouldn't feel like the government's telling me or politicians telling me that I can't be happy unless I own a house.
You mentioned 3% versus 5% down payments. After the housing bubble popped, the politician said, never again. We're not going to give out these 3% down payment loans. And they raised it to whoop-de-doo, 5%. It used to be 20% or 40%. But now they've lowered it again to 3%.
It's back down to 3%. This is the thing that we were promised by every member of the government after the housing bubble. Never again. Never again will we have these irresponsible loans out there. But now the FHA today is guaranteeing mortgages with just a 3% down payment.
Here's the president earlier this year saying we're going to help the middle class.
Starting this month, the Federal Housing Authority will lower its mortgage insurance premium rates enough to save the average new borrower more than $900 a year.
Voters buy this.
This stuff makes me really upset. I mean, basic economics says that if you are making it cheaper to get a mortgage than relative to the supply of homes being fixed, it's actually prices are going to go up. And really what the government making homes more affordable does is it just makes it easier for you to take on more debt. There are more ways of defining a responsible home buyer than just the down payment in your home. But if you actually don't have the savings to put more than 3% down payment on a home, then almost every finance professor in the country is going to tell you then you aren't actually in a good position to be taking on that home.
The Treasury Department has this website, Making Home Affordable. Help is here. They make it sound like magic. Even the phone number has the word hope in it. They want you to go into debt, just like Gov in the video.
Let's get you a loan. I love loans.
Of course, if they'd gone to an actual private bank, which had its own money on the line, this would happen.
Alexis, your loan has been denied.
What? Why?
Well, you can't expect to be approved for a $225,000 loan when you're already hundreds of thousands in debt.
No, I wouldn't think so. So Alexis turns to her boyfriend, Gov.
Can you help me?
With what?
Don't you have savings?
No.
So now you're always throwing money around.
Oh, I'm massively in debt. Massively. Except that it's actually other people's debt, so it's complicated.
You ran up all this debt on me?
Did you not know about this?
Nobody knows about this. You pay attention. Nobody pays attention.
Nobody knows about this, and it's actually not the debt that the taxpayers actually have, which is related to all these bailouts of Fannie and Freddie and all of the guarantees that they have behind Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and FHA. That's not even counted as part of the national debt, because this stuff is considered to be a government-sponsored enterprise or a government-sponsored entity.
Wow.